Hello, and welcome to The Relevance of Now with William Linville. My name is Michael Connell, and I'm hosting with William today, answering his questions, interacting with him to provide clarity on why is finding your purpose so hard. And when we think about purpose, I wanted to get a definition first, Will, of what is a purpose for a person? What are the distinctions that make up our purpose?
Well, the distinctions of your purpose is when you're doing something that you can feel your heart opening and expanding and expressing with ease and grace. All parts of you are opening and expanding. So it's when you're doing something where your heart is fully opening and where you're expressing and expanding, allowing for your whole being to open and express. Many perceive their purpose as assisting, facilitating, doing events, doing seminars, doing hands-on facilitation. But, if everyone did that as a purpose, there would be no accounting, there would be no garbage disposal engineers, there would be no office workers and things like that. So purposes are different for everyone. Some dear ones love office work, some dear ones love the corporate life. Some dear ones love doing anything and everything that have to do with everything on the planet. It's just where you're finding your sweet spot where you're flowing, you're expanding, you're opening, you're amplifying, and where your heart is opening, where your heart is singing.
That brings up to me the point you've mentioned on how important it is to acknowledge that we're totally unique.
Totally.
And when you were talking, it was reminding me of what you've shared in our total uniqueness. When our heart is open and expanding and we're in the relevance of the now, is that when we can feel our unique purpose?
Totally.
You're also sharing a bit about the state of consciousness that's required to find your purpose.
Exactly.
This is the optimal state of being.
Yes.
I want to make that clear because I find that this is one of the reasons why it's so hard to find your purpose, because I'll use myself as an example. I was doing things that I instinctively was good at, but over time, after doing it for a while, it was kind of like not as fulfilling. And that comes down to what blocks us from feeling our purpose. What are the blockages that are in the way?
The mind and the ego is what creates the blockages within yourself. The mind that puts things in boxes and the ego that tries to grasp on and to create a level of ho-hum. When you're coming through the heart and you're creating a level of expansiveness, openness, vibrancy, and exhilaration, and the ego tries to dwindle it down to make it smaller and to make you smaller, and tries to create a sense of boredom, which is all the ego, because you're never bored. You're playing with molecular structures, you're playing with atoms, subatoms, molecules, and you're opening up and expanding into all these different realms, all these different worlds of probabilities, potentialities, and you're opening up, you're emanating, you're amplifying. But the ego is there trying to create all these different levels of separation, segregation, and trying to create all these levels of ho hum boredom when you're coming through and you're emanating, you're amplifying, you're expanding into all these different multidimensional realms.
Wow. And if people haven't listened to our last podcast on DNA, please do listen to that, as that ties into a lot of all of Will is sharing. And there's also Who You Are podcasts to delve more into the essence, the detail behind our multi-dimensionality and other aspects of ourselves that William's referring to. Can you talk about the process that blocks a lot of people is that they have to get rid of something that they value. It might be they value the income because that provides them safety, but if you're not feeling fulfilled in what you're doing, you have to give something up. Can you talk about that process for people?
Yeah. What happens is when you start to follow your passion, when you start to follow these levels of your purposes, what happens is your purposes start to grow and grow and grow, where the income starts to come in more and more and more. So it's not like you're walking away from one thing and starting another. You're letting your purpose grow and grow to where the income starts to flow. And then it starts to take the place of your current employment to where there is no lack. There is no lack. It's not like you're going to go without anything. The income will start to grow and replace one income for the other.
We've been talking about opening our hearts, and that must mean that we need to clear, resolve, and dissolve the blockages.
Yes, and raising your consciousness to a point where you're being and becoming open, receptive, expressive, having an open heart, putting the ego to the side and no longer comparing yourself. Because it's not fair to compare yourself because there's no one like you.
And when I started feeling my heart, it wasn't like it was telling me my purpose, but anytime I tuned into, what would I love to do, it would be really clear and strong.
Yes,
And I want to share that for people because for years and years and years, that wasn't the case. So
it's
I'd
not.
hear these things about purpose and kept finding it hard to kind of find it because the blockages were there and I couldn't fully feel it. And I want to share this because while we're talking about it, feeling your heart, and then when you're feeling rather than thinking, when you get to the point where the blockage has been dissolved, I've experienced how what William's sharing, how all of a sudden there's such a power within me that the purpose is undeniable. And included in that purpose, which you've also, talked about, is there's a love aspect to purpose.
Yes.
And can you talk more about that?
Yeah, it's when everything starts to fall into place, falls into alignment to support you, and you can feel the support of the whole universe around you. And the love that you can feel is astronomical because you feel the support, you feel the embracement of the whole universe.
I've also experienced it's not so much about accomplishing things as much as experiencing things. And what I'll share about that is it's the first time in my life that I'm experiencing through myself that my purpose can just be playing with the kids or
Exactly.
my nephews and nieces, or that I can bring my purpose, uh, which is my presence, to every situation
Exactly.
without any expectation.
Exactly.
Because before I used to always seem to have a plan before going,
Exactly.
or more, you know, more of a concern, more of a feeling. And are there any other points you'd like to share about our purpose?
Yeah, your number one purpose is to wake up and embody your higher levels and walk your walk and allow for everything else to fall into place because everything will fall into place once you start to wake up and walk your walk as the light beingness that you are, connecting with your higher levels, allowing your higher levels to take command and to steer you and journey you and to
Yeah,
fully embody that within yourself.
yeah, and I want to reiterate that I'm starting to experience that. It's just the most amazing experience. And there are a number of podcasts talking about blockages and resolving and dissolving blockages. With more information about that, you can go to those videos in YouTube or listen to the podcasts. And having one-on-ones with William is a great opportunity for you to experience feeling your higher levels through the body, as every time you get the opportunity in your transition to feeling your true self, it accelerates dramatically the pull. It's not even that you have to think it or believe it. You just kind of keep getting pulled more towards experiencing this presence that you are.
and how it accelerates the process of it and more fun in the process.
Right.
And
Awesome.
having
Well, thank you all for joining us. This is The Relevance of Now with William Linville. Please click subscribe. Join us next time. Namaste.
namaste.